Welcome to Sprague Week. Just kidding. In today's show, Brandon Sprague of wait, Brandon, what's the 1059? We can leave this in. Oh.
1051 FM. You're
Okay,
close.
I'm ready.
You almost had
I'm
that.
ready.
You're a professional. And action.
In today's show, Brandon Sprague of 1051 The Fan joins the program, and we talk about the Blazers potentially moving, the return of Damian Lillard, and yes, young Hansen. Welcome to Locked On Blazers. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Trailblazers, your daily Portland Trailblazers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What up, world? It's your past first point guard and Trailblazers reporter, Mike Richmond. Listen to another episode of Locked On Blazers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Coming at you 3 days a week in August into the first couple weeks of September. Then we'll be back rolling along 5 days a week. And this week, but this show you're listening to Wednesday, August 6th program. And this week, for the next couple days and into next week, Brandon Sprague's going to join the program. That's right. You know him. Brandon Sprague from 1051 The Fan on your FM dial. You've heard his voice. It sounds crazy in the new FM modulator. How you doing, Brandon?
I'm doing great, man, but not even the FM can make my voice sound good, but we're excited to be over there. It's been a lot of fun to be on the FM dial from the AM dial. It's 2025. I can't believe we were on the AM dial still, but it's been great. Listeners have been great, and it's good to be on the pod, man. Thanks for inviting me. I love being on with you. I'm a P1 of the show, and so I can't wait to talk Blazers with you.
Well, I always enjoy our chats. We spend a lot of time texting each other about the Blazers occasionally. So I said, you know what? Let's just take it out of the text messages. I said, stop texting me. Come on the program. We're gonna start with a little news today. This isn't really news. It's news adjacent, but there has been some reporting, including a cover story last week by the Willamette Week. That's the Alt Weekly newspaper, a wonderful Alt Weekly here in Portland, about the potential for the Trailblazers to move. Now, this is something we've covered here. I'm sure you've covered it on your program a couple times, but it kind of came back into the zeitgeist because not only did the Willamette Week write about it, but there was a group formed that's called Rip City Forever, and it's organized by former Blazers player Chris Dudley, also former Lake Oswego basketball coach and Republican gubernatorial candidate Chris Dudley, former team executive. Shout out to Kevin Love's championship team. Coached by Chris Dudley that lost in the state championship. Marshall Glickman, who's the son of Harry Glickman, and who's the original owner of the Blazers. Aaron Hubert, who was the COO of the Blazers way back when, and a local business folks, Joth Ricci, who used to be the CEO of Dutch Masters and Adelsheim Vineyards and Stumptown Coffee, and Ryan Buchanan, who's the head of a creative agency, Thesis. So these people, movers and shakers, are saying, like, we're going to be proactive in getting Portland to make sure we don't lose the team. We can't be reactive. We have to be proactive. We have to get ready. And they're rallying the sort of local politicians and the governor and yada yada yada. What's your concern level for the Blazers leaving town? Like, how real is this to you?
If you gave me like a scale of 1 to 10, like 10 being, sound the alarms and everybody like puncture the moving vans, their tires, like don't let them leave town. I'm definitely at like a 1.2. We can get into this, and I know there's a lot to it. It's layered, but one, like that group, no matter what you think of any of those people, that's an impressive group of people, right? Those are accomplished people. Those are people of business, people of note, people that actually have connections and power in different ways. I think that group coming out with the statement that they did kind of spoke volumes. I think an underrated part of this equation is Dame being back here. And I think the third part of it that, definitely puts me at that lowish-ish tier of like, I'm not concerned is the group collective statement that some PR firm definitely wrote for Tina Kotek and Keith Wilson about like doing whatever it took and, Rip City and what it means. Like, even if somebody did write it, that wasn't them. Like, I don't really care. I just want it to be written and be said. And so I think with those collectives all together, I'm at like a 1.2. If you want to call it a flat one, I'm there. I'm not into the fear mongering. I think it's negotiating public stuff, tactics 101. I think there's a market in worse shape than us. And I just think ultimately, no matter how you feel about the political landscape of the city and even in the state, the team means too much. And so I think cooler heads will prevail in different ways. Some people may not like the way those heads prevail, but I think they made it abundantly clear they're going to do what it takes to keep the team here.
Yeah. So the letter that was written on, published, so I think it was written on July 29th and then made public on July 30th. But it reads in part, the Blazers are in our DNA and at the center of what makes this community so special. This is from Governor Tina Kotek and Mayor Keith Wilson, written to Commissioner Adam Silver. They are at the center of what makes this community so special. We mean that literally. The Moda Center sits near the middle of the city within reach of every corner. That's by design, and we want to keep it that way. We also want to be loud and clear that as the governor of Oregon and mayor of Portland, we fully support renovating the Moda Center to become a point of pride for the Blazers and our city. We are prepared to explore the public-private partnerships needed to make that happen. And I think that's what we're talking about here. When Adam Silver said the team is likely going to need a new arena, if you read it as definitely going to need a new arena, that gets a little dicey, right? Because that's a whole, you got to buy some land and you got to build parking and blah, blah, blah. But if what he meant was they're going to need the arena to be up to modern standards and you're going to need to spend a bunch of money to get there, but you can use the bones of the old arena as many teams across the league have done, the Moda Center can be renovated. And there is at least the outline of a plan in place to allow for that to happen. But that was agreed with the previous ownership, and probably the level at which it would need to be renovated is beyond the scope of the existing agreement that would tax tickets and parking at 6%. And I think that was pretty well reported in the Willamette Week. It was like, you can get close with there, but you can't get all the way there. And so I think what you're going to come up against is basically how much are citizens willing to commit public money towards this thing. And I think that's what you're talking about here. It's just leverage. Like you said, it's just a leverage play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, look, I've talked to a couple of people and like, I'm not trying to be reporter guy at all. Like in any way, I want nothing to do with it. I thought Willamette's story was good. I will say, like, I boycotted him for 4 days. Like, why did you put a photo of Dame in a Sonic jersey? That seemed unnecessary.
It was a little troll.
I didn't need the troll job on top of the article itself. But my older brother lives in the Seattle kind of area, and he works construction, and he actually did a lot of the glass work on Climate Pledge. And if you ever went to Key Arena back in the day when they had the Sonics, if you ever went there, you know, like it was one of the worst arenas, even in the moment that it existed. Like I remember walking in there once. I paid $20 to see a Jazz Sonics game by myself, spring break, got into the top bowels of the Key Arena. And I remember walking in there going, geez, this is a piece of crap. Like, and that was in 1999, 2000. Like, I just thought it was terrible then. When you go in there now, like I just went to the Storm Sparks game, dude, crazy. Like, I love that arena. It's one of my favorite arenas. Nice. It's so nice. I asked him, I said, how long did this take? How long did the reno take? He said, from start to finish, they kept the bare bones. They dug down wider to do everything, 3 years. So if you're talking about a full-on Climate Pledge type renovation, in one shot, it's 3 years. Now, if you do it in spurts, I don't know how they do that. We can get into what the alternatives would be. Are they playing in the Coliseum for 2 seasons? Because I know they're renovating that for millions of dollars. But they're going to take a ticket. They're going to take a ticket punch because there's not as many seats in that arena. And I know that venue's not as great, but it can be done. I also know, Mike, from just following certain people on social media, I know like a couple, I don't know, but like I follow a couple small business owners inside the Lloyd Center. And one of them just posted like a GoFundMe. He's trying to get out of there because all the feel good stories are great. He's like, they're tearing this place down. They're just not talking about it. And I was like, I kind of surprised me because everybody's been writing about how cool it is. And it's trendy Portland. Look at the mall. It's back. But the reality is it's still not very packed and there's not a lot of money being spent there. So I don't know what they do with that space. I don't know if that's been written about and I'm just forgetting, but that kind of surprised me the day of him like raising a GoFundMe to relocate, because he's like, they're tearing this down. So there's always been that chatter as well. And so I think there's alternatives. I think they can renovate. I don't know if they build a new arena, who the new owner would be. I think is dependent on that. But I definitely think you'd be fooling yourself if you don't think the city's going to be spending any money on this venture. Like, I'm sorry. I know people aren't for it. I get it. Totally with you. Seen all the reports. I also kind of buy into having districts. And so, like, I think there's a way where you can invest in community surrounding, create business opportunities for local people in different ways. I don't know if I buy the affordable housing stuff, you know what I mean, because of what it is. But I think there's ways the city can spend money without going, oh, we're financing a $2 billion arena. You obviously want the billionaire to be doing that, but the city's definitely going to spend money on this thing.
Yeah, real quick, and we can move on to basketball stuff. But my read on the Rip City Forever people is that they're saying like, hi, yes, if this team does happen to relocate an arena at the Lloyd District, we would like the development, all of the development stamps. If you are stamping new development for hotels and for new businesses and for new buildings, yes, hi, Mr. Glickman and Mr. Dudley and Miss Hubert over here would love to be involved in the development commission's decisions to get a real estate play, because I think that's one of the challenges with Moda Center as it sits. You can't build anywhere because of the Memorial Coliseum's position on the historic register, and because of just like the geography and the Louis Dreyfus rubber plant that's right there by the arena. Like, it's just, there's a lot of there's some actual like physical geographical challenges with it. So I'm with you. I think what we'll run up against, and I think this will be it. Like, I think it's pretty unlikely that they move, but it's when push comes to shove, how much are Portlanders willing to pay public money? And if they get up and like, if there is a level that they get to that we deem unfit, that I think it gets messy. But I'm probably a little higher than you than 1.2. But I think in the end, how this ends is in a city where we already pay an extremely high tax burden. We run that thing up. Let's keep it going, baby. Let's talk about basketball now. Do you hear that Damian Lillard is back?
That's right. He is back. He's the GM at Weber State now, right?
He's back. Let's talk about the GM at Weber State in the second segment. Join us there, won't you? First, I want to tell you that today's show is brought to you by Gametime. Have you ever decided last minute you want to head to a ball game with friends and family? Maybe it's game day. Maybe it's the night of the game and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Gametime comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. And with the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Gametime makes it possible. Gametime makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. Gametime is also the official ticketing partner of Locked On MLB. That's right. It's making it easier to browse the app for any exciting MLB games. You want to head up to Seattle if you're local here in Portland? Well, Gametime's going to make you reward you for procrastinating. Say they got a weekend series you want to go check out and you don't decide to do it until that Friday morning to head up to Seattle. Well, Gametime is a place to be rewarded for procrastinating. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use that redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, still chatting here with Brandon Sprague of 105.1 The Fan. Damian Lillard got a couple new jobs this summer. One, he's the GM at Weber State, which is either like a very demanding job, or I imagine in Dave's case, it's just like some money stuff. it's like some money. It's like involves like check writing, as what I would assume that it is. But I think it is cool that he's back at his alma mater. The dude loves where he's from. He really reps. Okay, this is the meanest, nicest way I can say this. Is there a basketball way that Damian Lillard joining the Trailblazers makes sense?
For this season or in general?
Period. That he's on a contract for 3 years. Is there a basketball way that this makes sense?
So I've gone a little bit back and forth on that since they announced him signing. And I feel like if you give any alternate answer of like, this is amazing, who cares? Like, I feel like people hate you for it. So like, I'm almost scared in some ways, but like,
you could be scared. That's okay.
well, but like, no. I mean, look, there's one way you can view this, right? What did the Thunder and the Pacers just show us in the finals? It's nice to have guys that can get buckets.
Yep.
The only problem with that is the Thunder are the youngest team in the league, and the Pacers also, they've got some vets, but like pretty young dudes, right? They got some experience with some young swing players. I don't know how anybody in their right mind, outside of feel and optimism, can truly tell me they know what Dame Lillard's going to be like off the Achilles. I know he's going to work. I know he's going to rehab. I know he's boxing in a boot right now. I'm well aware of the work ethic. I don't need to know that. But he's going to be 36. He's not Kevin Durant. I don't know how many times I need to like talk to people about this, of like the assumption that because KD did it, it means Dame's going to do it. Or like, how did Clay look? Clay hasn't been the same. Now, maybe Clay will find his footing now. Megan Thee Stallion's going to help straighten him out in a lot of ways, right? But like, we don't have, what's the track record of point guards that age coming back from the injury and being, what's a term I've heard, 80% of what they were? Like, we don't have that. So maybe he is 80% of what he was. What if he's 40? What if he's 50? What if he's 55? Like, I'm a big Dame guy, like forever, but I watched Bucks games before the injury. You know, like his point percentage and his outputs were fine. He had good moments, but like I also saw games, I'm like, that first step, not quite as like getting past dudes. So I think there was already a little itty bitty drop off from where we saw the 71-point Dame, and like now you're adding Achilles to it. I think it's a great feel-good story. I think it makes people feel great. I just saw a Blazer fan, Fred Meyer, and they're screaming at me from behind, he's back. And I'm like, I get it. I'm all there. It was great. But you asked me about basketball. They have Drew Holiday. They have Blake Wesley. And I know that's probably a one-year deal.
Blake Wesley gets a mention.
Hey, man. I'm naming point guards.
Yeah, Dame's really going to get in the way of Ryan Rupert. He's going to be like, I'm just so mad that they brought back a franchise icon in the way of Ryan Rupert. How dare they?
Did you see Blazer Twitter during the Delano Banton days? Like, I don't know if you know these people, man. They fall in love, and they fall in love quick. But my point is point guard, point guard, point guard, point guard. Like, does it make sense? It can if he's good, but if he's not, I mean, no, because what if Scoot has a good year? Who starts? Dame Lillard's going to come off the bench as a Blazer? You're going to tell me that's really going to happen?
Not right away. He might eventually. Not right away. Not right away. Yeah.
I don't know if it makes the most basketball sense, but it definitely made people feel good. And I think the $42 million was a little bit of a mea culpa of, sorry, we put you through that. Welcome back. Here's the mid-level.
Yeah. So I've kind of also, waffled on this a little bit. It's the beauty of talking into a microphone every day is like, you as a human, your opinion changes and you talk to more people and you have different perspective. And I think, in a grand scheme of the Blazers situation, I think it's cool. I talked to a friend and I was giving him this like nerdy basketball thing. And he just looked at me and he's like, Mike, why are you analyzing this like it's part of the cap sheet? He's like, what? That's not what this is. Like, get, he said a lot worse words than that. But it was like, he was like, what are you talking about? Like, what is this? Like this, what this is that this is a thing that I get to root for. And that is awesome. And I think that's true. I don't think you can argue with that. Rooting for Damian Lillard in a Blazers jersey is going to be more fun than not. No doubt about it. The challenge for me is trying to see what is like the perfect scenario. It's like that Scoot is so good that he has to start, and Damian Lillard is still a really good player, but somehow has this like, come to Walton moments where he decides that he wants to come off the bench. That's a reference to the 1985 Bill Walton 6-man campaign with the Celtics. And he wants to come off the bench and be a champion, like as a bit player, right? Like it's such the perfect, like this all works scenario is so thin. And I think from a national perspective, why everyone's like, Dame's going to sign with with like a championship level team, is because it makes more sense to try to have him be the over the top type of piece, as opposed to like, because the Blazers aren't really an over the top type of team right now. From a basketball level, it is really hard for me to see how it works out well. But I think from a fan perspective, it's easy to understand, like, yeah, rooting for this is going to be better.
I mean, you're gonna probably be there, right? I want to buy tickets because like I don't go to games much as media as much, but like opening night, customary tradition, everybody gets announced, right? It's the new season, so it's like here's the 6th man and the 7th man. Bro, guess who's gonna have the biggest ovation in street clothes?
Yep,
it's gonna be Dame. They're gonna say Dame's name. Mace is gonna say it the way he used to say it from Weber State, the letter O. And Drew and Scoot and Shea and Denny and Two and Klingon and Young, like get out
Blake
of
Wesley
here.
And Blake Wesley's gonna feel that.
Blake Wesley might be like, yo, I thought my noise was gonna be louder, but it's gonna be the loudest ovation. I'm not poo-pooing the emotional stake here.
Right.
Like I'm well aware. I heard from fans just like you did, like that got people back.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how good they're gonna be, but it got people back. So I think it's, I also think the human element of this, you talk about changing opinion and being back and forth. Like I can understand if it works. I'm not going to sit there like, I can't believe it. Like, but I also see the other side of it. And some people don't want to look at that side. I remember like you asked a great question at the press conference, a great question. You said, how do you get past something to the effect of like the emotions of you and Joe's relationship, right? Like you basically asked that. And I thought he got a great answer. I would have loved to have heard Joe's thoughts too, because I think the human element of that business is we are like, oh, they hate each other. And then a month later they text and they're cool because like it's business. And I just would have loved to hear Joe's thing, because I bet you part of Joe's answer would have been, I really regret how that went down on our end too. Like they will never say it, but they pushed him into it, right? Like that was clearly, I don't want to do this. And, we don't want to be the ones to do it. So it's just like a weird breakup in that way. And so like, I think part of that again was let's make a wrong right and, give him the mid-level. Okay, whatever. Make a hell of a lot of money being assistant coach, as Chauncey said, but it is a feel-good story. You can sell a feel-good story. Those will sell tickets.
Yeah, and I think there's a world in which Damian Lillard is better than a $13 million basketball player. But as my friend noted, it's not just a cap sheet thing, because if Dame is good and it puts Scoot in a weird spot, it makes you make decisions that you didn't, that like maybe you aren't ready to make, or maybe you shouldn't have to make because of decisions you've made, right? Like there is a world in which Damian Lillard is better than Scoot Henderson coming off an Achilles at 35. And that in and of itself puts you in a weird spot. But I will say that if Scoot's not good enough to beat out Dame at that age, coming off that injury, then in some ways that decision has already made itself.
I don't want to sound like the negative guy. I'm just like kind of playing back and forth with you here, though. But like, let's walk the scenario where Scoot averages 18. He pops 18-7, shoots 35% from three this year. Like, he's a good floor general. He distributes the ball pretty good. He's a good leader, right? I just like, and they take some steps, and then next year they figure out that lineup, whatever it may be, and he struggles. Like that's the scenario where it's like the feel good ain't gonna feel good. It's gonna feel awkward because you're gonna be there watching, going, we're all kind of thinking the same thing, but we don't want to say it because that's our due. Like, so like there's a scenario that nobody wants to be in, including myself. That's part of what's going on here. So I just, I'm excited to see him, dude. I think it's great. I do think he's going to help Scoot. I think Scoot's going to be open to being mentored, and that's the important part. It's not Dame. It's Scoot needs to be open to being mentored. And so I think because of that, sure, roll the dice.
Yeah, I think there are, well, I am worried maybe about like the overall sort of social political standing between point guard of the future and point guard of the past and present. There are some scenarios in which this is an okay. There are some medium ground that that they land in. You're the person who once called Shaden Sharp baby Kobe. It was a curse. You should have never done it. Let's talk about Chinese Jokic in the third segment. Join me there. First, I want to tell you about OpenPhone. If you're running a small business, you know that every missed call is money left on the table. Think about it. The last time you had an urgent need, maybe for a plumber or a service provider, if the first person didn't answer, didn't wait, probably not. You moved on. That's why you need OpenPhone. Let me give you an example. Our refrigerator broke. The evaporator fan broke, and all of a sudden, our refrigerator was warm. So I started calling people to help me fix my refrigerator in a hurry. And when the first folks didn't pick up, I went with the people that picked up first. That's what OpenPhone does, and make sure you do not miss customers who need you right away. OpenPhone is the #1 phone system built to streamline and scale your customer communications, all from an app on your phone that's also on your computer. OpenPhone lets you manage business calls and texts from a single place. Plus, they got a shared inbox feature, which is a game changer, so your team can jump into any conversation instantly without missing a beat. And right now, OpenPhone is offering my listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. That's OpenPhone.com/LockedOnNBA. And if you have existing numbers with another service, OpenPhone will port them over at no extra charge. That's OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Still a pass versus point guard. I'm still Mike Richmond. I'm still chatting here with Brandon Sprague of 105.1 The Fan. You're the person who coined the term baby Kobe, talking about Shaden Sharp, or at least popularized it over the airwaves. Now the Blazers have another young, exciting rookie getting compared to another all-time great. People are calling young Hansen Chinese Jokic. Are they right? Are you there? Are you back there? Are you Chinese Jokic?
So can I just real quick say that, like, the baby Kobe thing was part having fun, part shooting for pie in the sky, but also I've had at least 9 different times watching a game where I've popped a gummy by myself, and I hope other media members are texting behind my back making fun of me for calling him that. Like, I kind of deserve it at this point. So, like, if it's happened, it's happened. I'm not mad about it. But look, am I at Chinese Jokic? I mean, no. That is such a no, hold on.
No.
Hold on. Dude, I loved it. The first pass, I was watching in the garage with my brother-in-law, who's a sicko fan. We're in lawn chairs in my garage watching on a summer night. We both rose out of our chairs like, oh, like, it was fun. It's great. I'm super excited to see what it is. I don't see Jokic when I watch him play. I know the similarities. I know you can point to things that are similar. One, that's also an all-time, probably, if we're being really honest in a trust tree, a top 10 talent comp we're giving that. I go more like,
I think Jokic is conservatively one of the 20 best players to ever play the sport.
Easy, right? Like, if we're just being on, if he gets one more title, people are going to dabble with top 10 stuff with that guy, right? But
yeah. He's an all-timer.
If I was to say, what's the ceiling? I stepped away. Like, Chinese Jokic, I'm going to use it all year, just like everybody else. It's fun. I actually wonder if his growth, his development, and when he pops and how he pops is more Marc Gasol. Is kind of big guy, not super mobile quick, but can sneaky get around dudes, post player who ended up developing perimeter. He kind of already has the perimeter. At least he did a little bit in the summer league. Good passer. Like, if I was to comp it, I'd go more that avenue, but sure. Chinese Jokic. Like, yeah, I mean, I hope he pops, man. It'd be great.
Yeah. I would say, like, celebrating him as, like, pretty good passer with some upside is less fun than just saying Chinese Jokic. Like, I think in the spirit of baby Kobe, it's being like, dude, he threw some pretty good passes. He clearly is like, he's a willing and capable passer. And when you have a willing and capable passer, guys cut hard. So, like, it makes the whole, it fixes a lot of the challenges because, like, your offense just runs smoother because guys know you have a willing passer. It's just more fun to be like, yeah, he kind of reminds me of, like, if Pau Gasol and Marc Gasol had a little brother who grew up in Qingdao, China. He's like, he went to the Zibo School of Hoops or whatever it is.
What do you think of the Chinese Jokic nickname?
I just hate putting the weight of that on someone who's never played an NBA game. I hate the comp as a weight for him because he already has the weight of, I don't know, several billion Chinese basketball fans. Like it's just it's a lot. Like it's a lot, right? It is. I think he is. I will say this: he looks like he belonged in summer league. I'm a little skeptical of what he'll be like against NBA competition early in his career because I think the stuff he struggled with was loud enough that, like, as a 20-year-old, that's going to show up. And I think he's also going to play a fair amount early in his career, and that worries me a little bit because Rob Williams is going to play a bunch, and they're going to play Hansen, like, rightly so, over Duop Reith. That's the right move. And I worry that on a team that wants to be competitive, his struggles may be getting a little bit emphasized, and that being a problem. But I really enjoyed the Vegas experience. Like I'm excited to watch him there. What do you think? What do you think about his individual offense? Like, how is he going to score in the pros?
Well, first of all, like when he didn't play, I stopped watching. So like there's that, right? Like, no, thank you. I don't need to see Ryan repair for the third straight summer league. Individually, offensively, there's certainly some stuff. I actually really like that he was willing to fire some threes out. Like that's going to be really important for them. It's little kind of things for me. Like I don't pretend to be Mr. X's and O's basketball, but like if you played basketball, you can recognize some stuff pretty universally.
I mean, you're a pretty high level youth basketball coach, award-winning youth basketball coach. I don't know if people know this.
Well, summer was rough. I'll just say that much. We're on the hot seat. We're in the hot seat going into the fall league, but we're trying, Mike. We're working hard. We're grinding film. Him catching at the top and then like directing dudes, like that's a little thing. I love that. Like that tells me that guy understands already what they're after, what they're doing. He's feeling confident in his ability to put guys in the right spot. Obviously a very willing passer. Post game, does he kind of remind me of when I played Madden and I just keep hitting the spin button? Absolutely. You just circle, 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 circle. I don't know what the juke button is. I forget it. Like he did do that a little bit. I think it's going to get him in trouble. He got ripped in summer league doing it. I think it's absolutely going to happen. I liked what I saw. I still think it's pretty raw. I think he needs to learn a couple more post moves, but I think that comes with time and patience. He's 20. He's coming from the CBA. The thing I'm a little concerned with the speed, the foot speed in the NBA, because again, that Golden State game, the roughest part about that, because it was such a great debut, is with kind of being a little hyperbolic. I think that was the worst summer league team I've ever watched in my life.
They were really bad.
Bro, like that, I don't know what that was, but I've debated this with my coworker Meringue because we like to yell at each other, and he was like, he's gonna play 26 minutes a night. I'm like, 26? You think so? He's like, he has to. Donovan can't play more than 23. And I go, if he can stay out of foul trouble. And he goes, I'm not worried about that. I'm like, dude, he's been getting 4 or 5 every game. So like, I don't know about everybody else. I'm concerned about the foul trouble. I think he's gonna bite on pump fakes because he loves to do the block shot highlight stuff. So I think he's a kid. I think he's gonna have some great fun moments, and I think he's have some games where we go, rough one there for old Yonger. But that's to be expected, I guess, from a guy that's picked where he was picked and coming from where he's coming from.
Yeah, I'm not worried about him fouling out. You can foul out in 20. If you only play 26 minutes, you can foul out. You got 6 of them, use them.
I'm more worried about the 6 and like 10 is what I'm more worried.
There was that game last year where Donovan Clingan fouled out in 11 minutes against the Cavs.
Yes.
And it was like, oh, whoa. And this is one of the best teams in the league. Yeah,
what's his high end? What's his high end production to you?
For Hansen, probably like 8, 8 and 5 or something like that.
Yeah, that's about what I said. I'm like, at best, I think that's kind of what you hope for.
Yeah, I don't like. He struggled to score against Armando Bacot, Tar Heel legend, but like not an NBA player. We don't produce those, and it's just. One day. I think that the how he's going to score is a little bit dicey, but I think they used him in a smart way in Summer League. And if they continue to sort of do that kind of smart use the way they did in Summer League, I think you can get away with it with better teammates a little bit. So we'll see. I'm a little worried about the Blazers like half court offense in general. So like throwing him into the middle of that and being like, all right, direct that traffic, buddy. That seems like maybe like too big of an ask. But I will say if the Blazers hadn't added 2 35-year-old point guards to the mix and they were just being like a developmental team, which I thought they might be this year, and saying like, we're pretty good, let's go young. I would be all in on just like giving him as much as he could possibly handle. But they want to win. They want to win games. And I think, typically young players aren't very good. So I would be in favor of him probably playing more than he will play, but we'll see. I would say Chauncey Billups is not afraid to play youngsters. He's done it. He doesn't always play them at the beginning of games, but he's not afraid to play youngsters in general.
There's a lot that people would probably tout for themselves. Of all the differences between him and Terry, it's easily the thing I've loved the most about him.
Absolutely.
Young dude, get some minutes, get some burn, make mistakes. All right, you're not ready. I'm going to put you back down. Whereas like, good luck. Unless you're Damian Lillard, good luck getting out there as a young dude for Terry Stotts.
Yeah, it's different now. And I like it better. I like it better that if you're good enough to play, you play and you can kind of play through some mistakes and yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. Terry was in a weird spot. He kept having to coach for his job year in and year out. Damian Lillard kept saving him. It worked out well. I want to talk more about this, but I'd like to invite you back for Friday's program. Would you be willing to come back and talk more about the Blazers and the week?
Dude, I'd love to come back on because I want to throw at you about some of this stuff because
we're going to get into it.
They've made some comments publicly, Mike, that's like, okay, we're setting bars here. We're actually setting expectations for ourselves. Here we go.
Perfect. This is exactly what we're going to get into on Friday's program. We're going to talk about expectations. We're going to talk about whether the Blazers have the guy and our confidence in them finding the guy on the roster. We'll get into all that. Join us in Friday's program. And for now, just tell your friends about the show, available wherever you get podcasts and also on YouTube. And just turn on your radio in the mornings and you will hear Brandon's beautiful FM tones. Come back for Friday's program. I appreciate you listening. I'll talk to you soon.